Now, there was an old lady who lived alone in a cottage. She was widowed and had no children, no surviving family. She'd outlived virtually all her friends. She was poor as a church mouse. But for all that, she was a happy and cheerful old soul, because she could always make the best of anything, and made the best of everything, no matter what fortune threw her way. Well, one morning, she wakes up and she goes to boil her porridge in her old porridge kettle, and she sees that the bottom of it has rusted out. Now, you or I might be a bit upset about this, but she thought to herself, "Oh, what wonderful good luck. I need a new porridge pot. Now I've got an excuse to go to the markets. That means I can go out and meet my neighbours and have a chat and talk. What wonderful good luck." So she bustles about her cottage and she looks in the old teapot, and she looks in the back of the drawer, and she looks through her old clothes, and from various pockets and pouches and containers she manages to find 9 pennies, which will be enough, she calculates, to buy herself a decent second-hand porridge pot from the peddler at the market. So she puts the 9 pennies in her poke, and she puts on her best cloak, and she goes out the cottage door and down along the path on the way to the market. And she hasn't gone very far along the path when her eye is suddenly caught by a gleam of metal in the side of the road, in the ditch. And she peers down and pokes at it with her stick, and to her amazement she finds it's a porridge pot that somebody has thrown out, lying in the ditch. "Oh," she says, "what wonderful good luck. Oh, I do hope it's whole." And she hooks it out with her stick, and she finds that it's still got its lid on. She takes off the lid, it's full of mud and weeds. She takes it out, but she holds it up to the light and she can see it's whole. There's no daylight showing anywhere, so it's a bit battered and a bit dented in places, but it's a good, perfectly useful porridge pot once she's cleaned it up a bit. She thinks, "And I've still got 9 pennies to spend at the fair. Oh, wonderful! What wonderful good luck." So she walks off, stumping along with her stick and swinging the old pot in her hand, and thinking about her wonderful good luck, when all of a sudden she thinks, "You know, this pot seems a bit heavier than I thought it was." And she's curious. She stops and she takes the lid off the pot and she looks inside, and there's a big lump of gold just sitting in the pot. "Oh," she says, "what wonderful good luck. I can't have seen that when I was emptying out the mud. It must have been at the bottom all along. Now I've got a huge lump of gold. And with this gold I can buy myself a fine house in the town, and I can have servants to do all the work. And I can sit quietly in the parlour waiting for my grand guests to come and visit me and take tea with me. Oh, what a wonderful bit of good luck." And she walks on and walks on, and she thinks to herself, "And I've still got 9 pennies to spend at the fair." Well, she walks on, and then suddenly she realises that something's odd about the weight of the pot in her hand. It seems to be shifting and sliding around inside. So she stops, takes the lid off and looks inside. There's no gold. There's a great heap of silver pennies. And she's looking at it and she's thinking to herself, "What's going on here?" But then she goes, "What wonderful good luck. I didn't need all that gold. Why, with a fortune like that in the house, I'd have been frightened of thieves coming in and cutting my throat for it. I didn't need a big town house and servants. What would I do with idleness at my time of life? But this pile of silver, that's enough for me to get my old cottage repaired. And it's a bit put by, I can get myself a new coat for winter. And there's a bit put by for emergencies. That's all I need. What wonderful good luck. And I've still got 9 pennies to spend at the fair." So she walks on, and she walks on, and she walks on. And then she realises that the weight in the pot has shifted again. And and there's a sort of lumbering, bumbling roll to it. So she stops and she takes the lid off and she looks inside. The silver has gone. All there is a big cobblestone rumbling around inside the pot. And she looks at it and she stares and then she goes, "What wonderful good luck! I didn't really need all that silver. It wasn't as if the cottage needs serious repairs. I could probably get my neighbour to do it for me in return for a few pots of honey and a couple of eggs. But what I didn't have was a nice big cobblestone to keep the back door open when I'm working in the kitchen garden. And that's exactly what I've got. And I've still got 9 pennies to spend at the fair. What wonderful good luck!" And she's walking on, and she's walking on, when suddenly she hears something. She hears a thin, high little voice, and it's laughing. And she's startled. She looks around, but she's on an open road. There's no bush, no hedge, no cover, just the open road and the fields each side. And yet somewhere within a very short distance somebody is laughing and she can't see them. And then she realises that the porridge pot is shaking in her hand. And she thinks to herself, "This is a bit strange." And she quickly puts the porridge pot down in the middle of the road. And the pot is shaking on the road as she lets go of it. And all the time this giggling little laugh comes out of it. And then suddenly, without any warning, out from underneath the pot come 4 spidery little legs, covered in fine grey fur, each ending in a little hand, like a human hand, but much, much smaller. And it scampers up and down. Suddenly from out under the lid at the front, pops a little head, like a badger's, but covered in small silvery fur. And out from under the other end pops a long mottled brush of a tail in fine silky silvery fur. And this thing dances around her all the time, laughing, fit to burst. And then, faster than a huge spider, it scampers down the road and over the hill and over the down and out of sight. And the old lady is left there, open-mouthed and wide-eyed, gazing after it. And then she says to herself, "What wonderful good luck! To think, at the age of 85, I have finally seen the Hadleigh cow." For that's what it was. And she went home and made herself some porridge in her old saucepan and sat and ate it, thinking all the while of her wonderful good luck. And that is the tale of the Hadleigh cow, and I hope you liked it.